swear to God, his day will come. Conor McGregor, ladies and gentlemen.
Conor McGregor, the face of UFC, has been out of the Octagon for over 3 years.
Oh, big shot from McGregor.
10 seconds.
Oh, he's hurt.
Could he finish him here?
That's
It's all over. Conor McGregor.
After a brutal leg injury in 2021, many have wondered, can the Notorious make a comeback? With Dana White confirming McGregor's return in early 2025, the UFC world is buzzing with anticipation. But after time off, distractions, and new talent emerging, will McGregor have what it takes to reclaim his dominance in the sport? In today's video, we'll break down McGregor's journey, the challenges he faces, and what his return means for the UFC. We'll also explore how his time away from the Octagon might impact his performance, and if his hunger to fight is still there. Stick around because we're diving deep into whether McGregor can once again become the king of the UFC. Let's get started by looking at how McGregor became the biggest name in the UFC. Make sure to subscribe to Peak Plays before we start the video. McGregor's impact on the UFC. Conor McGregor's rise to fame was nothing short of meteoric. From the moment he made his UFC debut in 2013, it was clear that McGregor wasn't just another fighter, he was a force of nature. Known for his knockout power and sharp trash talk, McGregor quickly captured the attention of UFC fans around the globe. His ability to sell fights and create drama outside the cage made him the sport's biggest superstar. McGregor's historic double champ status, becoming the first fighter to hold titles in 2 different weight classes simultaneously,
emphatically took out one of the greatest fighters of all time. You go into the UFC record books with the fastest knockout in UFC championship history.
Cemented his legacy in the UFC. He wasn't just a fighter, he was a global brand. His fight against Floyd Mayweather in 2017, though outside of UFC, further boosted his fame and fortune, earning him over $100 million. However, as McGregor's stardom rose, so did his controversies. From brawls at press conferences to legal troubles, his time outside the Octagon often overshadowed his fighting career. Still, there's no denying that Conor McGregor changed the face of UFC, elevating the sport to new heights globally. Now, as McGregor prepares to return, the question is, can he reignite that same spark? Let's move on to his injury and how it has impacted his career. The injury and time away. McGregor's last fight was in July 2021, and it ended in disaster. Facing off against Dustin Poirier, McGregor broke his leg at the end of the first round at UFC 264, leaving fans shocked and unsure of his future in the sport. The injury was severe, requiring surgery and a lengthy rehabilitation process. It was the kind of injury that can end a fighter's career, and for McGregor, it kept him out of the Octagon for more than 3 years. During this time, McGregor kept himself busy with various ventures outside of fighting. He starred in the 2024 remake of the movie Roadhouse and became a part owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships. But despite these extracurricular activities, McGregor remained absent from the thing that made him famous, fighting. Dana White has openly discussed the challenge of whether McGregor, now a very wealthy man, still has the hunger to compete at the highest level. As the Irishman gears up for a 2025 return, his injury and time away will undoubtedly play a factor. How much has ring rust and age caught up with him? Has the fire to fight faded after such a long layoff? These are the key questions as we look ahead to his comeback. Next, let's see the obstacles he'll face as he steps back into the UFC. Challenges McGregor faces on his return. McGregor's return won't be a walk in the park. The UFC landscape has changed dramatically since he last fought in 2021. New stars have emerged, and the competition has only gotten tougher. Fighters like Charles Oliveira, Islam Makhachev, and Justin Gaethje have risen through the ranks, making the lightweight and welterweight divisions more competitive than ever. Another obstacle is McGregor's focus. With his immense wealth and success outside the Octagon, will he have the same drive to compete as when he was hungry and on the rise? Dana White himself has questioned whether McGregor still has the hunger to train, fight, and win against top-tier opponents. Up next, we'll explore Dana White's optimistic prediction for McGregor's return and why he believes McGregor can still make an impact in the UFC. Dana White's optimism for early 2025. Dana White, the UFC's longtime president, has always been a believer in Conor McGregor. Despite McGregor's extended absence from the sport, White remains optimistic that the Notorious can make a successful return to the Octagon in early 2025. In a recent interview, White expressed confidence that McGregor is still capable of delivering high-caliber performances, even after years away from competition. White knows that McGregor's star power is unparalleled. His return, whenever it happens, will undoubtedly be one of the most watched events in UFC history. But beyond the commercial appeal, White seems genuinely hopeful that McGregor's fighting spirit is still alive. He's had so much time off, but he's one of the big superstars that elevated the UFC. We'll find out when he comes back, White said. While McGregor was initially pushing for a return in December 2024, White has tempered those expectations, projecting an early 2025 fight instead. McGregor has been vocal about his desire to fight, but with his injury history and lengthy layoff, White is playing it safe by ensuring McGregor is 100% ready before stepping into the cage. Now, the real question, can McGregor still compete at the top level of the UFC? Let's dive into what his return means for the sport. Can McGregor still compete at the top level? The biggest question on everyone's mind is whether Conor McGregor still has what it takes to compete with the elite fighters of today's UFC. At 36, with years away from the sport, McGregor faces an uphill battle in reclaiming his spot at the top. While he has the skills and experience to challenge any fighter, age and inactivity are undeniable obstacles. However, McGregor's career has always been defined by overcoming the odds. He became the first double champion in UFC history, knocked out legends like Jose Aldo and Eddie Alvarez, and took on the challenge of fighting Floyd Mayweather in the boxing ring. If anyone can make a comeback, it's McGregor. But will his hunger and focus return? McGregor has made it clear that he's itching to fight, but there's a difference between wanting to fight and being able to compete at the highest level. The new generation of fighters is hungry and ready to prove themselves against a legend. The question is, does McGregor still have that same fire? As we wait for McGregor's return in early 2025, one thing is certain, win or lose, his next fight will be a must-watch event. Conor McGregor's return to the UFC is one of the most anticipated comebacks in sports. Will he rise to the occasion, or has his time at the top passed? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for all the latest updates on UFC's biggest stars.